Have you ever wondered why so many challenges arise just when you need to be strong? What if I told you that these tests are not by chance, but are fundamental trials for your mission? In this video, you'll understand why failing in these moments can prevent you from becoming the instrument God has chosen for a greater work. Today, you'll discover the keys to overcoming these obstacles and how each one is a divine preparation for your purpose. Are you ready to turn your falls into growth and your weaknesses into strength? Then take a deep breath, because this is the first step on a journey that could change the course of your life. When we talk about being a chosen one, many imagine something mystical, almost heroic. Perhaps you've already felt that call, an inner voice telling you that you have something important to do in this world, something that only you can accomplish. It's an intense, profound feeling, but also a bit mysterious. And you know, the truth is that when God chooses someone, He sees something that goes far beyond appearances and circumstances. He sees your essence, your ability to transform and illuminate the places you pass through. But this choice also carries a weight. It requires courage, responsibility, and above all, commitment. After all, being chosen doesn't mean that your life will be easier or that everything will be easier for you. In fact, the opposite is often true. Those who carry a special mission often face the toughest tests, the most uncertain moments and difficulties that seem insurmountable. Because deep down, their mission involves something that transcends their own ego. It concerns a greater good, a transformation that is not only personal, but collective. And that is why you are called to become someone stronger, more resilient, able to act with compassion and clarity even on the darkest days. This path is not for everyone. That's why, at various times, you may have felt out of place, as if you didn't fit into the world around you. Perhaps you feel misunderstood or even isolated on certain journeys. This is because the journey of the chosen ones does not follow the same path as most people. You are in a process of internal construction, being prepared for something that will demand everything you can give, and more. It's as if each experience, each obstacle is shaping your spirit, preparing you to fulfill your true purpose. And this call, this weight, awakens the need for deep self-knowledge. It pushes you to look at yourself more honestly, to confront not only your virtues, but also your shadows. Because the chosen one needs to truly know themselves so that they can transform what needs to be changed and enhance what is already good in them. God chooses you, but He also expects you to do your part, to be willing to continually transform yourself, to expand your consciousness, to develop the ability to see beyond the obvious, to feel and understand the subtleties of life. So when you feel this call, this special mission, understand that it is a gift, but also a commitment. It's as if your soul already knows that there is something great waiting for you, something that will only be fully revealed when you are ready. And if at any point you question yourself or feel tempted to give up, remember, every step you take on the path to your mission strengthens your essence. That's exactly why tests are so present. It may seem unfair and perhaps even cruel, but the challenges you face are not simply obstacles that come along to discourage you. On the contrary, they are a form of preparation. Imagine that each test is a kind of training session to strengthen parts of you that, without this pressure, might remain hidden or dormant. Just as an athlete needs intense exercise to achieve his best performance, you too need challenges to develop the resilience, clarity, and confidence that will sustain you throughout your mission. God doesn't allow these tests by chance. He knows they are necessary to shape your soul and awaken your inner strength. Tests can be confusing, frustrating, and often painful. They will make you question everything, from your purpose to your own faith. And in a way, that's part of the process. These moments of uncertainty, of vulnerability, are essential for you to discover who you really are. In times of ease, it's easy to feel secure and confident. But it's the challenges that show the depth of your faith, the strength of your determination, and the ability to find peace in the midst of chaos. When you find yourself in a difficult situation and still manage to find hope and strength, you are proving to yourself that your calling is real and that you are ready to face it. Every challenge brings with it a hidden lesson. Sometimes the purpose of a test is not in the victory, but in what it teaches you in the process. Perhaps it reveals a weakness you hadn't realized you had, or shows you a skill you didn't even know you had. It can be an opportunity to practice patience, compassion, or forgiveness, with yourself and with others. And on other occasions, the purpose of a test is simply to teach you to trust in something greater, even when the answers aren't clear. God sets these challenges so that you can draw closer to Him and to your own essence, so that you can discover the strength that was latent within you. There is a hidden beauty in every trial we face. Many of the chosen ones who have faced intense situations have come out of those moments transformed. They discovered the true depth of their abilities and felt the presence of something greater in their lives. Going through these tests is an experience that leaves its mark, but also awakens the certainty that you are capable of overcoming adversity. The feeling of overcoming, even in small steps, gives you the confidence you need to face the bigger challenges that lie ahead. So when you face these tests, remember that you are not alone. All the chosen ones go through this process, and each test is a chance to move forward on your journey. These difficult moments are not the end of the road, but a necessary stepping stone for you to achieve something much greater. You are being prepared for something you can't yet fully see, but which is getting closer with each test you overcome. And by understanding this, you begin to look at the challenges with different eyes. On every journey, we all carry internal blockages that we often don't even realize. These are fears, insecurities, traumas, and beliefs that have accumulated over the course of our lives, and which, without us realizing it, prevent us from moving forward. On the path of a chosen one, these blockages end up revealing themselves with force, as if a light were being shown on all the parts of us that need to be understood and healed. It's a deep and sometimes painful process, but it's absolutely necessary. God doesn't choose perfect people. He chooses those who are willing to transform themselves and go beyond their own limitations. The first part of this process is to identify these blockages. They often disguise themselves as justifications. I'm not good enough. This is too risky. What if I fail? And without realizing it, we accept these thoughts as absolute truths. But what if you started to question them? What if these thoughts were actually internal voices that don't reflect your true potential, but rather the fears you've learned to carry? Recognizing that these limitations are created by the mind is the first step towards overcoming them. This is the time to take a closer look at what has been preventing you from living your calling to the full. Overcoming these blockages requires courage and, above all, self-compassion. Because it's very common that when we discover our limitations, we end up judging ourselves for them. But remember, we all have our internal battles, and the important thing is that you are here, willing to face them. If your calling really matters to you, then it's worth looking at these blockages with sincerity and patience. They are there not to stop you, but to challenge you to grow and become someone stronger and more confident. Often these blocks come from past experiences, from situations that have marked you in a profound way. And that's normal. But the power of being a chosen one lies precisely in the ability to transcend these pains and rewrite your own story. You are not defined by what you have lived through, but by what you are willing to build from now on. By freeing yourself from the fears, doubts, and insecurities that limit you, you make room for a higher version of yourself, more aligned with the purpose that God has outlined for your life. This internal work of identifying and overcoming blockages is continuous. There will always be something to learn, something to transform. And as you go through this journey of self-knowledge, you begin to realize that the biggest blockages are not external, but internal. When you understand this, a transformation takes place, and the barriers that previously seemed impossible to overcome begin to lose their strength. The fear of failure is an almost constant companion on the journey of the chosen ones. This fear is not just the fear of making a mistake, but of at some point not living up to what has been destined for you. The pressure of being chosen comes with a responsibility that seems to loom large in our most vulnerable moments. After all, you're not just trying to fulfill a personal mission. You feel like you're carrying something that affects other lives, and that feeling can be paralyzing. But believe me, you're not alone in this. Many other chosen ones face this same fear, and understanding that it is part of the process is the first step to overcoming it. This fear of failure is natural because it touches on very deep areas of our existence. When you're carrying out an important mission, it's common for the mind to start projecting scenarios of failure, of doubt. What if I don't succeed? What if I fail at the moment when I'm most needed? These are questions that almost all of us face at some point. But here's the crucial point. Fear can actually be a teacher, an indicator that we're facing something great. Fear only appears when something matters a lot to you, and that means that the mission in front of you has profound value. When facing this fear, one of the keys is to remember that you don't have to be perfect. God doesn't expect perfection from the chosen ones, but rather the courage to go ahead, even with doubts and insecurities. Imagine a warrior. He doesn't stop going into battle because he fears pain or failure. On the contrary, he advances knowing that courage is manifested precisely in the act of facing what frightens him. The greatness of the chosen one lies in getting up and continuing to walk, even if the voice of fear is present. The important thing is that you don't allow yourself to be paralyzed by it. Practices such as meditation and prayer are extremely powerful in this process of facing fear. When you connect with the silence within, you begin to realize that fear doesn't define who you are. It's just a passing emotion, like a cloud in the sky. The more you align with your essence, the clearer your purpose becomes, and the less room fear has to dictate your steps. Every time you choose to act, even with fear at your side, you are strengthening your faith and showing that, deep down, your commitment is greater than any insecurity. So whenever you feel that fear of failure, remember that it is part of the journey. It's there to remind you of the importance of your mission, but it doesn't have to be a hindrance. Take a deep breath, embrace this feeling, and move forward with the awareness that growth comes precisely from this encounter with the unknown. Because by facing this fear, you begin to see that each step taken with courage prepares you for something even greater. On any path of evolution, falls are inevitable, and for a chosen one, these moments can be even more intense. There is an internal expectation that, because you have a special mission, you should always be strong, always get it right. But this is far from reality. The truth is that even the greatest chosen ones fail. And more often than not, these failures are the moments of greatest learning and transformation. Every weakness you face carries within it the seed of a strength that is waiting to be born. It's as if every mistake is an opportunity to access an even more complete version of who you are. Turning weakness into strength starts with acceptance. Accepting that you're not perfect, that there are points in you that still need attention, and that it's okay to have moments of fragility. We all have limitations, and denying them only keeps us from growing. What sets a chosen one apart is the ability to look at these limitations and say, "This is part of my journey, and I can work on it." When you face your flaws honestly, you make room to understand what needs to be improved and give yourself the chance to become stronger from them. One of the greatest examples of this transformation is resilience. Every time you get up after a fall, you are strengthening this ability to persist, to keep believing even when everything seems uncertain. And this strength, this resilience, is what shapes a chosen one. It's not the absence of failures, but the ability to learn from them and use them as fuel to keep going. Falls can teach you about patience, humility, and above all, the power of determination. Each experience, good or bad, is part of the fabric of your life and brings unique learning. This process of transformation also involves humility. By accepting that you are still constantly building, you begin to realize that your weaknesses are an essential part of your growth. They show you where more attention is needed and often reveal hidden strengths that you haven't yet discovered. When you understand that true strength comes from within and that it is built up over time, you feel safer to face challenges, knowing that you don't have to be invincible, just committed to your evolution. So every time you fall, instead of judging yourself or despairing, see it as an invitation to explore a new way of growing. Because in the journey of a chosen one, true transformation comes precisely in these moments of vulnerability. They teach you to trust the process, to believe that everything has a purpose, and that even your weaknesses are part of what makes you unique. So, with every fall, you get even closer to the purpose for which you were called. Persisting on the journey of a chosen one isn't just about moving forward, it's about carrying the flame of faith, even when everything around you seems dark and uncertain. Being chosen doesn't mean having ready-made answers or easy paths. In fact, endurance and trust in what you can't see, but feel deeply, become your true guide. Faith, then, is more than a feeling. It's a commitment to the mission you've been given. At times when difficulties seem insurmountable, it is persistence, driven by faith, that keeps the purpose alive and the journey steady. Resilience is built day by day, in the act of not giving up, of getting up after every fall, and above all, of believing that what lies ahead is worth the effort. Being resilient is accepting that challenges can and will arise, but that they are also temporary. It's knowing that, at the end of each trial, there is a lesson that enriches the spirit and strengthens the purpose. Persistence is not stubbornness. It is having the courage to trust that difficulties play an important role in your preparation, and that each obstacle shapes you for something greater that you are still building. And this faith, which is the fuel for every journey, is not blind or reckless. It is the certainty that, however much you don't understand everything right now, there is a bigger plan being drawn up. At many moments, you may feel that you don't have the strength to go on. In those moments, faith acts as a bridge between what you feel and what you can't yet see. It reminds you that, even in your loneliest and most exhausting hours, you are never really alone. And for the chosen one, this certainty is what keeps them moving forward, making every step meaningful. In addition, commitment to your mission requires you to keep your eyes focused on your purpose, even in the midst of chaos. Persistence is the ability to remain in your essence, to not let external circumstances erase what is essential within you. It's these moments of overcoming that later become your greatest achievements, because they represent not just what you've managed to do, but what you've managed to be. They are the tests that reveal the depth of your character, your spirit, and your connection to what calls you. When faith and persistence go hand in hand, something powerful happens. You become unshakable, regardless of the storms that may arise. Each time you choose to trust and persist, you build a solid internal foundation, capable of withstanding any challenge that comes your way. And with this fortitude, you get closer to the moment when the signs begin to reveal themselves. After each battle, each challenge overcome, something inside you begins to change. With each test you overcome, a new strength emerges, a clarity that previously seemed distant, and, little by little, you notice the signs that you are becoming the person you were always meant to be. These signs don't always come from outside. They arise mainly from within, in small changes in the way you think, feel, and act. When God chooses someone, He not only prepares them for a mission, but also allows subtle signs along the way to indicate that you are ready to be an instrument of something greater. One of the first signs is the inner peace that emerges, even in the midst of difficulties. Instead of despairing in the face of new trials, you feel a deep calm, a confidence that is not easily shaken. This is a clear sign that your spirit has been strengthened and that you have learned to trust in the divine presence that guides your path. This peace doesn't mean that there are no doubts or challenges, but that you have found an unshakable inner foundation. It is the certainty that, whatever happens, you are in alignment with your mission. Another powerful sign is the emergence of greater sensitivity towards others. You begin to feel empathy for those around you, even those you don't know deeply. This sensitivity is an indicator that your heart is more open, more compassionate. God uses those who connect with the pain and joy of others, who understand that the mission of a chosen one goes beyond themselves, reaching out and inspiring the lives they touch. This is one of the moments when you realize that your purpose is expanding and that you are being prepared to impact the world in a significant way. There is also a growing clarity about your path. The doubts that used to surround you begin to dissipate, and in their place, a clearer understanding of what you need to do emerges. It's as if the pieces of a puzzle are finally falling into place, revealing the full picture. The steps that once seemed confusing now start to make sense, and you start to act with more certainty and conviction. This clarity is a divine gift, a sign that you are ready to become a tool in God's hands, to accomplish what only you can do. In addition, you will notice an increasing connection with intuition. It's as if an inner voice becomes more present, guiding your choices with a precision that you didn't experience before. This intuition is a form of communication with the divine, a direct channel to the greater purpose. Every day you learn to trust this inner voice more, knowing that it represents the alignment between your soul and the mission you have been entrusted with. This deep connection shows you that you are no longer lost. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. Finally, gratitude arises. When you feel, deep down, that every experience, every obstacle, every test has brought you this far, gratitude becomes part of your being. This gratitude is the last and most powerful sign that you are ready. It represents acceptance of your path and trust in the purpose you have been given. With a heart full of gratitude, you know that you are now ready to be used by God, to act, transform, and touch other lives with the light you have gained at every stage of this journey. And it's at this point that you realize that your mission has only just begun. You've come this far, faced every reflection, and recognized in yourself the strength and faith that make you truly chosen. Now know, every step you take from this moment on, every choice and every act of courage, has the power to inspire and transform lives around you. Your calling is unique, your mission is great, and the world needs what only you can offer. If this message has touched you in any way, if you felt that these words resonated with your spirit, share this journey with others who are also searching for their purpose. Like, comment, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe so that you can always be connected to content that will strengthen and elevate your spiritual journey. Thank you for being here, and know that the path continues, now more enlightened, fuller, and more conscious.